Okay, it's been a heck of a long time since we've done this. Welcome back, brother. We're talking about a movie made in 1986 called House. And it doesn't have Hugh Laurie in it, and it's not about doctors or anything. But what it is, it's probably one of the least unsung gems in our history of watching horror movies. I remember when I first heard about it was from a friend whose family talked well about the movie.
Right.
And they happened to have a copy, so one night I went over and it was my friend and his mom were really excited to see it again. So I sat down, and I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but it got a few good jump scares. It was two of the best I've ever had in my life. And it was so bad the mom actually left halfway through the movie and said she didn't remember it being this scary. And the other jump scare scared the family dog who was kind of sitting and looking at the TV, and got everyone.
It just blows my mind that a dog would be watching a movie.
Well, yeah, or
been paying attention to what's going on.
Everyone says like they don't watch TV; they just kind of look at the pictures moving on the screen. But you know, it was enough to make this dog recoil in horror to come over and sit in my lap and kind of hide her head, and that was one of the funnier moments. But just to run down the film real quick.
Right.
This movie takes place in a sleepy little town in the middle of nowhere, eastern United States, basically, like Boston. And what happens is an author who is previously very successful finds he's on a dry spell, so he goes back to his boyhood home where he used to take summer vacations with his aunt. And she died and left him the house, so now he's going to come back and see if it kicks around something upstairs so he can finish writing his Vietnam memoirs. Memoir. And the story just takes place in this old mansion where at midnight monsters show up, and he's plagued by these visions and these experiences that he really can't explain, but to his credit, he really dives in and tries to figure it out.
He's got a lot on his mind. He's stressed out pretty hard. His memoirs are really, really kind of bizarre, I thought. And, what's going right for this guy? This is one unlucky dude. Was there a reason why there was monsters running around there? Or was it just, that's what they do?
It had something to do with him bringing his demons along with him. And whatever was haunting this place or inhabiting this place was preying on his weak-minded nature and his regrets from Vietnam. And it was kind of using him as a conduit, so it really had nothing to do with the house.
So it's like a demonic possession.
Yeah, sort of. Almost like a demon finds its way to our universe through the human soul. So that they don't really dwell on that, so I'm not saying like that's the cause, but that's what I drew from.
Yeah, this movie will really take you by surprise. Like it doesn't look like it would be of much account, but it really is. This movie actually made me jump a couple of times. It made me like, how dare they scare me like that in broad daylight? It's a very gutsy movie. It's very fun.
It's fun, and at times it's easy to get swept up in it, and the movie goes at such a good clip. There's always something going on. He's always got his crazy neighbors always peeking in on him, and they're up to shenanigans by the end of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And his neighbor is played by George Wendt, who's Norm from Cheers. And you couldn't ask for a better sidekick.
He's a good guy.
Like he kind of believes in this guy. Like he's kind of a fan of this author, but he doesn't want to act like a complete fanboy. But he's willing to play along with whatever technique this guy's doing, trying to get his mojo back. And Norm's just a riot, absolute joy to watch on this screen. And for me, that's the most fun part about the movie is the dynamic between them.
Yeah, like this movie, it's actually probably about as good as it gets for me. Oddly enough, that I would pick that. But of the ones we watched, this has been my favorite one so far. It has a weird look to it. Like it's not like a huge budget movie, but they really come through.
Yeah. Like even the house is nothing crazy. It's just an old house with old knickknacks kind of on it. Like they have the deer head on the wall and the taxidermied fish over the mantelpiece and a lot of bookshelves.
Yeah.
But they don't push the horror look too hard.
No. It's so when it happens to you, it really does kind of take you by surprise.
It's very jarring.
It's like it's just waiting in ambush, and it's gonna strike you when you don't realize you're vulnerable. This movie preys upon people.
Oh yeah, it doesn't set itself up for the usual. There's a jump scare coming. It's
there's no
there's no warning. There's no build. There's no cheese build.
It's really anachronistic, and it really, really works.
You can only pull a movie like this off once in a while, and it's hard to think of any other movie that kind of does that. So for that aspect, it succeeds just perfectly at what it wants to do. The other half of the movie that you see in spurts that is a little less convincing are the writer's flashbacks to his days in Vietnam, which I don't know. When I first watched this movie, I found them to be too comical to be taken seriously, and maybe that's why he's struggling writing this book.
This thing is kind of like a horror comedy, but it is funny and it is scary. This is way better than Gremlins.
Oh yeah, there's a fine line between running too funny or too scary, and this is right down the middle. It's perfect. It's balanced out. It runs fast. But I think you were saying something about it just has this vibe. Like it just needed a little more money. That's about it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's already out or if it's going to be out in a little while. But they've remade Poltergeist. You see them in the commercials, and I don't think that movie needs a remake. I think the original Poltergeist is a top-notch movie. But I don't really hear anyone talking about House being remade, and House is a good movie. It's
perfect.
It's
very
not perfect, but it's very, very good. And no one considers remaking it, and I think a remake probably could yield some good results.
I think the only problem is if you were trying to remake a movie like this, it would instantly fall into let's cast Seth Rogen, and it would just become a comedy with a few jump scares, and that's about it.
Yeah. Maybe when you say it like that, it's probably best just to leave it alone and enjoy it for what it is.
Because it still holds up.
Yeah, this is really good.
And there was a sequel to it, which has almost next to nothing to do with what happened in this first movie.
Yeah, I tried to get through the sequel, and I wasn't able to.
Yeah, the only thing that was close is that it had ghosts. But beyond that, it was a Wild West treasure hunting movie, as far as I can recall. But yeah, ignore the second film. Live in this house because it's a wonderful place, full of frights and wonderment, discovery,
and it's actually really scary. I found it was just really made me jump, and that's so rare for me. Yeah,
and so it was nice to watch this after taking a break as we did. We haven't really done anything new for the channel in a while, so to get right back on the horse, I can't.
This is exactly what we needed.
Yeah, exactly what we needed. Cheers, and let's keep finding more of these movies.
Good night.